So in this video, we will talk about the double, float, character, and Boolean. For double and float, both of them represent the decimal numbers. So we can check their maximum and minimum range by using the same thing we mentioned for the previous video. And we can name it double. So this is the variable type for double. And we can name it double max equal to double dot max volume. And we can do the same thing for double min equal to double dot min volume. And we can print them out. That's the double max and double min. And we can check the result. Notice that the volume it gives are the positive ranges. So the double can store the negative and positive numbers, but it only shows the positive range. So the maximum number it can store is this. It's a really large number. And the E means 10 to the power of 308. And that's the minimum decimal place it can store it. And obviously, double can also store 0. So give you some example. We can say double x equal to a really long number. However, it still has it right on the line saying there's an arrow. That's because this is also been treated as an integer. So we want to treat it as a double. So we have to make it a decimal number. So 0.0. And now it has no problem. It can be stored in the double. So now we can check it out by printing out x. And now we can see we're able to store this number. So for float, it is also used to store the decimal numbers. So let's see some example. We have float y equal to 1.2 semicolon. However, we see that there's a right on the line indicating there's an arrow here. The reason is, by default, 1.2, all the decimal numbers are stored as double. So we have to cast it to the float. So the way to do that is add an F in the end. Also, by default, because Java treats all the decimal numbers as double, we want to avoid using float. So if we can, we want to use double instead. Sometimes we will have a decimal number with a really long decimal places. For example, we have double z equal to 1.238, and we want to print only the first 2 decimal places. So we can round it up by typing string dot format and quotation mark percentage sign 0.2f, and we have a comma and our variable name. So this will round the number to 2 decimal places, and we can see now it's been rounded to 1.24. So don't worry about the syntax here for now. As long as if you want to use it, you can just copy this line and it will be fine. And for character, we're using it to store each individual character. For example, we can use char my char equal to, let's say we want to store the D, we can use single quotation mark D. So when we store the strings, which we will discuss later, we use quotation marks, double quotation marks. And now for the character, we use single quotation marks. And it can be stored one letter or one character only. If you have multiple characters, DD, it will have an arrow saying too many characters in it. So we can only store one character. So the character not only can store the English characters, it can also store many other things. For example, character my char 2 equal to 1. So we treat the number 1 as a character here. We can also do character my char 3 equal to single quotation mark, comma. So that's also a character. Usually, character is associated with some individual numbers. So if we want to use letter A, we can actually use the number 65. We can say character, some variable name equal to 65. It will automatically convert to the A, and this is called ASCII value. And this table shows the representation of the ASCII value and the character it represents. So we can check if we want to use letter M, we can type 109 and etc. So let's do some example. If we have character, let's say new character equal to, let's give a random ASCII value, let's say 33, comma. So and then we print the new character. So this will not print 33 even though we assigned 33 to the character. The reason is 33 is not a character, it's an ASCII value. So it will convert to the character that 33 represents. So now we can see it will show this. And we can do some other example. Let's do 105. It will print out letter I. And that's how we use the numbers to represent each character. And the last primitive data type is Boolean. So Boolean is used when we compare things. So Boolean, we can only assign two values, which are true and false. So we can only assign it to true or false. So it used when we compare things, we want to return the truth volume. Let's say we want to compare x to 12, and we want to return whether it's true or not when x is equal to 12. So actually do some example here. Boolean, let's say truth value equal to, we can say true. And this is not a variable name nor a string. So this is actually the truth value. And we can have Boolean truth value 2 equal to false. And when we print them truth value, we actually get the true. So this is all 8 primitive data types Java uses. And for the next video, we will show another data type called string, which is not a primitive data type, but we use the string really often.